Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special podcast brought to you by Vero Minute. Today, I am here in our Beyond the Trend studios with a very special guest. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation. Please help me to welcome John R. Moses of Riverside Theater. Welcome, John.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is great.
Thank you for being here. You guys are in the middle of a little bit of a busy show season, right?
We are. We're right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. And I'm excited about this year.
Yeah, I've looked at the lineup. It looks amazing. And I did actually have the privilege of seeing your opening show this weekend, Little Shop of Horrors, which is perfectly timed for Halloween, I might say.
It is.
Was that your idea?
No. This was very much still Alan Cornell's final season of show selections, and but this has been one that's been on our list for a number of years.
Okay.
And so we finally decided, well, let's put it on there for that. So
absolutely, it's about time, right?
It is.
Now, you've been with the theater for a while, and I kind of want to hear a little bit about your tenure there. But recently you have been asked to take over the reins from Alan, and you are now the CEO and executive
producer.
Producer.
Yeah.
Because it's a theater.
And I'm basically taking over the creative, the creative helm. So that's the producing side of it as well.
Wonderful.
And so I have been at Riverside for 27 years. This is my 27th season, I think.
That is amazing commitment to any organization. Congratulations.
Yeah, and it went by in a blink.
Really? That's
really
a wonderful thing to be able to say after 27 years.
Yeah. And I've the joys I've witnessed a lot of changes. From what it was. It was a small little theater company when I got here, and it has it has just grown and it continued to double in size over so many years. But I came here in the production side of things as the production manager, and so I was very much hands-on in the creation of the work. On stage, behind the stage for about 10 years.
Okay.
And that's when, at that point, Alan was elevated as the CEO, and shortly after that asked me to come in as the COO, the CFO/COO, of which I was for about 16 years. And 15 years, I guess. And then last November is when they started to talk about succession, and I kind of had to have the conversation with myself. What do I want to do? And I had been out of, to some degree, out of the creative side for quite some time, and I really wanted to get back to my roots. What many don't know about me is I actually started on the stage.
I was going to ask if you were ever an actor yourself.
I was, and I had every intention on making that the career.
That was your primary goal.
That was the goal. And but at the time, I would do anything to stay in the theater. So I learned anything and everything, so that I could always just be at the theater. It was always far more exciting. But halfway through my college career, I made that choice. I kind of made the switch, and switched over to design technology.
Interesting.
And all the management, that was all me, Forrest Gumping my way through the theater world. But the creative side has always been home to it. So to what I like to do.
Yeah, kind of your passion.
That's my passion.
Right, your creative outlet.
You're right. So a year ago, I that's what I communicated. I said, listen, I want to create again. I'm good at counting beans. There's no problem with that. But I can do that too. But I want to get back to creating. And the board, thankfully, they agreed with me. And they had me step up into that position.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
That's great.
Yeah,
Congratulations again. That
yeah.
really,
Thank
it's
you.
Riverside is such a cornerstone of our community, I think. And do you want to talk a little bit about your vision going forward now as a theater and kind of your role in the community?
Absolutely. So, I've been involved with the community in many different aspects, this entire time. And, and it really is, it's a professional theater for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of even some of the alternative programming that I've brought to the company, like the whole Live in the Loop, the free music in the park,
Mm-hmm.
comedy zones, Howl at the Moons, other special, music type events.
It's a wide variety.
It's a wide variety. Um, and the commitment to continue that. Our ultimate goal is to get them in to see these big, beautiful, elaborate Broadway caliber
So
shows,
much love and work has gone
right?
into.
Yeah. We put a lot of heart, a lot of soul, a lot of money into these big, beautiful productions that we want everyone to be able to enjoy those too.
Yeah.
But the theater is tricky. For many people, they view it as something not for them. Whether it's because, even if you're in New York and you walk up to these old elaborate buildings, the average person would go, well, I don't belong in there. And when you look at
It feels maybe a little intimidating.
it's intimidating. And so when you look at our outside facade, it's intimidating too.
It's a big, beautiful building.
Yeah, it's a big, beautiful building, but you would go, do I belong here? And so a lot of our efforts are making it, is to having programming that makes it more or less, I should say, intimidating for people to see, oh, I can walk up here and participate, and then eventually wander their way inside the building and
Creating
realize
some different entry points.
That's right.
For different people in the community.
That's right.
That's great.
And the same goes with all of our education programs that we're growing every year now. We're growing these programs. And we have programs that are on our campus. We have programs that are outside of the campus, like our playtime in the parks. And then we have a lot of programs that are growing off campus for the same kind of reasons. A lot of kids, they have so little time after school from getting bused from their school to their after care program that if they were to get on one more bus to come over to us, the day is shot.
It's a very long day, yeah.
It's a long day. So a couple of years back, we made a commitment where we go to them. So we have programs on site and we have programs off site.
What is Playtime in the Park?
So that is where twice a month on a Saturday morning at 11 a.m., we have dance and we have theater for... we target the little ones. So we're talking the 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds.
Oh my gosh, I bet that is adorable.
It's great. And it's right on the outside loop stage. And we generally have, 50 to 75 people that come every Saturday morning. Everyone's welcome. It's free. And
great.
It's all geared for the little ones.
Okay. And do you pre-register for that online somewhere?
You just show up.
Just show up and play.
Just show up.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like really connecting with the community at large and making the theater even more accessible is a high priority to you.
It is. It's making it more accessible for the community, but it's also I want Riverside Theater. We have a saying that Riverside is the largest producing professional theater in the country to exist in the smallest town. Now that's a mouthful.
That's quite a title.
So I'll put it to you into those that like numbers. There's no other theater in the country that's the size of Riverside Theater that exists in a town or a county, a metropolitan area of 160,000 people. Most theaters the size of Riverside exist in a metro population of 2.1 million people.
Really?
So from the number side of things, Riverside Theater should not exist in Vero Beach. And it does as do many other cultural entities, because we have a very large population that are committed to supporting the arts, not just for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but for the entire community.
Mm.
So taking that really special gift, I I'd like to see Riverside kind of take the charge on when it comes to new works, when it comes to fostering creative
Mm-hmm.
people, artists, whether they're authors, actors, and expand upon our programming um, in the future that brings that to play as well. Um, there's a growing contingency of people in the field that we say Broadway's broken.
Mm.
It's broken from a standpoint that they too they can't survive on ticket sales alone.
Right.
It's broken where it's also very difficult for new work to be produced because it's so expensive.
Well, and I think across a lot of creative channels, for example, publishing, right? Same
That's
for
right.
new authors. It's harder maybe for new voices to
Exactly. And
get a
that's what
light
it,
shined on them.
that's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are so many new stories out there that could be told, that should be told,
Mm-hmm.
that can't be told because the system is somewhat broken.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as far as my future, we're going to always have those big, beautiful, popular shows. That's what drives the engine, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as we're able to expand, programming and add additional programming, I want it to be in a way where we're actually able to get some of these voices and these stories told and heard.
Yes.
That's a passion of mine.
I think that's great. And I do want to kind of shift gears and go back to these big, beautiful productions.
Yes.
Um, so I was able to go over the weekend, so thank you so much for making that possible to see Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, it did not disappoint.
Good. Good.
That show is such a classic, and I think I was telling Irina the first musical I ever saw when I was maybe 12 or 13 years old was Little Shop of Horrors.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was mesmerized. The music is so catchy and it's such a high energy production. But why do you think it's kind of stood the test of time, or why is it still relevant maybe for audiences after so many years?
Well, it became like a little cult classic, because it started with the film in 1960,
Mm-hmm.
and it took off. In fact, there's one actor that you might even know, kind of made somewhat claim to fame through it. Do you know?
It wasn't Rick Moranis, was it?
No,
Wasn't he?
this was the original
Oh, from the 60s?
Jack Nicholson.
Really?
Really?
Oh my goodness, no.
He played the character he played did not make the stage play or, the remake of the movie. But he actually played one of the patients that goes into the dentist's office deliberately seeking pain from teeth. So I think that fits right into Jack's kind of personality in the many plays that he's
Right.
done. But it became a cult classic. And then in 1982, that's when they adapted it for the stage for the first time in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it played for over 2,000 performances, which
Wow.
to give you an idea, today, most theaters that open new shows
Mm-hmm.
in New York,
Mm-hmm.
they're lucky to get to 131 performances.
Yeah,
They're
2,000
even
is a lot.
Yeah, they're even more lucky to get to 300, and they're considered somewhat successful if they make 400 performances.
Mm-hmm.
And this one hit 2,000.
I mean,
And I
and
think
that was in the 80s, you said?
that was in 82.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the movie had a big part of the do with that, because it was something new and different on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
It introduced the puppetry onto
Mm-hmm.
Broadway.
Yeah.
And then the movie, I think, really that just helped it along,
Right.
as then more and more regionals and community theaters and school programs all were able to produce it and started to
The
produce
remake of the movie, you mean?
it. The remake of the movie,
Mhm.
yeah, and then they started producing the plays.
Okay.
But it's a classic. What would you do for love? You know,
That's
what would you
true.
do
When
for
you
love?
just boil it right down to it,
Yeah,
right? It's a love story,
it's a love
a
story.
slightly gruesome love
It's a
story.
gruesome love story, you know, and it's got the little bit of humor that's, you know, a little bit. There's a lot of humor laced throughout it,
Hmm.
but it's kind of like, you know, selling your soul, you know, because it's like you're
Yeah.
feeding the demon, you're feeding
What they call the Faustian dilemma.
right.
How far would you go and what compromises would you make for the thing that you seek? Love, fame, fortune.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you kind of see with the character of Seymour, you know. I mean, you see him really, um agitate over there's no way I could do that. I can't do that. And then once he does, he realizes, okay, and then so he does it a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
and does it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into that point where you realize there's no going back. And now what do I do?
Right.
And then of course it's, you know, you feed the demon and the demon gets bigger
Mm.
and then you really can't go back. And eventually it consumes
Yeah.
you.
So
No
true.
pun intended. Um,
In the
but yeah,
most literal sense, but that is kind of a truism in life. And
it is.
the original authors, I guess, maybe do you have any idea what inspired them to kind of put pen to paper and put all those demons into a talking plant?
You know, I don't. I know that in the 60s it was right, you know, it was coming out of that whole era of having those classic horror movies.
Hmm.
And but yeah, no, I don't have the history on that. On why they came up with that, you
Right.
know.
A plant is just such an interesting vehicle for
Yeah,
all of it.
for the consuming, you know,
Yes.
and it spreads, you
Hmm.
know, even to your studio.
Oh no, that can
Look,
be the thumbnail.
look out, Vero, because it's taken over. The plant is
Everyone,
everywhere.
don't feed the plants. Okay.
Yeah, and whatever you do, do not water them
Right. Stay
after midnight. No,
away. Stay away. Cover your hands.
right,
Wear gloves when gardening.
exactly.
So what was it like to, this is a very prop heavy play, or the
Yeah.
props themselves are very intricate and expansive. So how did you all kind of start the process of putting together the logistics for this show?
So about a year ago, we actually started looking at because what you're seeing is kind of a hybrid of things that we built and things that we rented, and the plants were one of the things that we rented, and actually you're seeing the plants that were from the revival, the
Hmm.
Broadway revival.
Wow.
I believe it was 2004. I
Hmm.
think that's the one that we ended up with. And
Okay.
in fact, a little, you know, interesting tidbit. So Hunter Foster, who um, is directing Gentleman's Guide coming up next on the stage,
Hmm.
he played Seymour in the revival back in
Right.
2004,
And so now he's directing the next
and
production.
he's directing the next production.
Okay.
But we have part of the set that he worked on
Oh, that's
back,
so funny.
and he's coming to direct. But
So the
but
plants
so about a
are,
year out. But but whether we've rented pieces of it or we build it, we start the process a year in advance.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many hours it takes? Like people working hours to put together some of these sets? Is that
Well,
something that you track at all?
we to some degree, but I'll put it in broad strokes here. So we have about a production department of about 30 people
Hmm.
that spend um, 6 to 8 weeks per production
Wow.
of time
Hmm.
building and putting together all of these sets.
Almost 2 months.
Yeah,
Wow.
about 30 people.
Hmm.
So that's why it's generally a combination of things that we rent, buy, borrow, build,
Hmm.
you know, or we're just juggling, time and resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how long or how far out do your actors and actresses start rehearsals usually?
So we start rehearsals essentially 3.5 weeks prior to opening.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit of a short timeline, I feel
It's a
like.
short timeline.
Yes.
And that's what makes it really special and really magical, because if you think about it, especially in today's day and age,
Mm-hmm.
we're taking, I'll use, well, this show. So we have 13 people.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, 11 people on this one. Um, they don't really know each other.
Mm.
We put them all in a room
Right.
first day and we say to them, all right, now get to know each other and create something beautiful.
Mm. You're really just kind of throwing them all in
Right.
together. Mm-hmm.
Now, think about that in terms of today. You know, you take a bunch of strangers and you put them in a room and expect them to, in 3 weeks, collaborate and come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if only the rest of the world could function that way, we could accomplish some major things.
Right.
But they get 3 weeks, and then we usually we have auditions usually a month and a half to 2 months prior to that.
Mm.
So from when we select them
Mm-hmm.
to when we fly them in,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 weeks to get the show up to opening.
It's all very quick.
It's very quick.
But to your point about, if only the rest of the world could function that way, I think one of the things that makes live theater so special is that everyone who's participating in putting together a show really has that shared goal and that shared vision. And is that something that you all kind of talk about with your actors and your team of, what it is that you're hoping they will bring to the community?
Yeah. We do, and then more so we try to enforce to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's kind of a paradox that we deal with. When you ask somebody, hey, are you going to go see Little Shop? You're going to get one of two choice answers, usually. Mm-hmm. You're going to get, I've already seen it. Or you're going to get, actually, no, I'm not going to go see it. I don't know what it is.
Mm.
So then what do you go see? Because if you're not going to see it because you already saw it, and you're not going to see it because you don't know what it is, and you're not going to go see it to find out what it is, then what do you do? Do you work into a bookstore and not buy a book unless you've read it?
I love rereading books and rewatching everything.
Right. But do you usually go into a bookstore to get a new book?
Well, no.
No?
Not unless somebody recommends it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then if you go in for a new book, then I think you're reading the jackets. You're maybe asking the clerk, what would you recommend? What do you
Absolutely.
think?
But,
right.
But
you want some frame of reference.
Yeah. But you're getting some new material.
I see what you're saying.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
And so with the theater, it's that same journey. It's that same adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's important for the audiences to remember is that whether you've seen it, we're going to give you a different version. Just like rereading the book, it's going to be different the second time.
Different experience.
You're going to pick things up that you didn't realize the first time you read the book, let alone the third time you read a book.
Right.
And plus, it's our version, different from what you might have seen before. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen it, well, that's just part of the journey. That's part of living. Go be adventurous and see something new.
Try something new.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we try to deliver, is not just a show, but a really great experience. Mm-hmm. From having the food and beverage, that we have on the campus to even on nights where you can come watch music first and then eat, drink, and then go see the show. I mean, we try to offer a very unique experience for the audience.
And I think to many people, it's a little surprising what a first-class experience it is when you are in a small town, especially if you're moving from a larger area. When I went on Sunday, I was sitting next to a woman in the row next to me. We started chatting, and she was originally from Connecticut. And I asked if she came often, and she said, "Oh, yes, all the time. We've seen a lot of different shows." And I was like, "Oh, what's your experience been like?" And she said, "I came in really not expecting too much." I'm sure you hear that all the time. She's like, we used to go into New York all the time and see shows. She's like, but it has just truly been amazing. I'm so impressed. And I think that's what I hear from everyone is that.
And see, I think that's our biggest hang up. And going back to what I said earlier, 2.1 million people is what's usually surrounding a theater like Riverside. And so if you went into a city like that, you instantly expect arts and culture at a certain level.
Right.
But when you turn off 95 to Vero Beach, you're not expecting. That's not what you're going to expect. They literally, pass some cows, pass some old citrus groves, and you don't expect it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's hard to explain it to people. Say, no, 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 trust me, it's legitimate professional theater.
Yes.
But it takes you going there and actually seeing it go, oh, wow,
Mm-hmm.
I would have never known. I mean, that's a very common response.
You do, I think, just have to step out of your comfort zone if you have not yet and experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up today, though, let's talk a little about some of those other parts of the experience. So you
Yeah.
offer food and beverage there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
you have a new menu.
a new menu and uh, a new management structure. So we recently hired a chef,
Ooh.
an executive chef,
Excellent.
a couple sous chefs, and Chef Sue Torres is now leading the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and we have upgraded and plussed a lot of the food.
Mm-hmm.
We have the casual dining, which we've had for many years, and we're getting into having those offerings of the fine dining experience,
Mm-hmm.
which are truly paired right before going to see a show.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-course prefixed meal. It's kind of the flagship of our food offerings.
Hmm.
But every Thursday, Friday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, if you're coming to see Little Shop or any show, you can always come at 5:30, sit outside, listen to music, sit in the lobby, even if you wish, and order from the casual menu.
Mm.
And
You have bands outside.
we have bands
right?
outside,
Live music outside.
live music.
So you can bring a chair, you can mix and mingle,
Yep,
have a little drink or two.
that's right.
And don't you do something maybe like a specialty cocktail that
We do. We have, I think they just unveiled 6 or 8 new specialty cocktails that are available. So, yeah,
so you can really make a night out of it.
it's special.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a special night. Treat yourself.
Mhm.
Treat yourself. You deserve it.
That's right.
So yeah, it's good.
That's great. And I have to also say that your staff is just so warm and welcoming, and all of your greeters and your ushers and the box office, just everybody
Awesome.
really makes it feel like they're excited that you're there. So you've done a great
That's
job.
great. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I would love to just chat with you all afternoon, but Irina and Jonathan do keep a tight schedule, and this is called Only More Than a Minute. So we went maybe a few more minutes.
I think that ship sailed.
Sorry about that, everyone. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Treat yourself to an afternoon or an evening at Riverside Theater. It's easy to find tickets and information online at their website. We'll put all of the links down in the description. Go see Audrey too in Little Shop of Horrors. It was a fantastic experience. The actors are amazing. The music was stellar. You guys will really enjoy it, and you'll be glad that you did. So thank you so much for joining us, John.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you at the show.
An actor from the latest production at the Riverside Theater here in Vero Beach. Please help me welcome Adam LaSalle. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Tell me a little bit about, maybe there are these kind of crazy twists and turns in the show that you don't see coming. Why do you think, even though it's fairly dark, it's still able to be humorous and something that audience can really get invested in with each of the characters?
Yeah, it's a great question. One of the things that I think this show does really well is that, to the point you had mentioned, is that it takes you everywhere. It's not a single thing, and that's why I think the show is what it is. That's why the movie was so well known. Is that it is not your typical musical theater. Guy meets girl, falls in love, happy ending. Like,
Right.
we go on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that, I think, too, is, and as a cast, with our director, with our music director, we're really shaping the world. And part of that is that there are some things where, I play a very villainous, evil human, and sometimes it's laughable, and sometimes it's not laughable. But then, as an audience, I almost feel like, if anyone is familiar with Breaking Bad, where it's like you see these moments when you're kind of rooting for something that you're like, wait, but wait, is this what I actually think? But he shouldn't have done that. But did he deserve that? Like, and
Mm.
so it kind of it gives you as an audience, it's like it's not just silly. Like there are times where I think you do
There's
sit with
some
this
real
idea.
moral reflection
Yeah.
happening.
And it sneaks in through all the comedy because you're laughing at things, but at the end, you have one person. Like I think the show is really about like how we make sense of kind of feeding the like the pleasures or the self interests that we have, but potentially at the cost of others. But the show is about that. But at the same time, it's also silly and wacky and funny and cartoonish. But it's got some really human elements to it that make you. Every time that I do the show, I've been so fortunate now. We've been doing it, dozens of times. Is that every time I hear a line or I think a part of the show or I hear people laugh and then gasp and then like you are able to watch and experience how the audience is making sense of these moral dilemmas while also laughing at the comedy of it. And I just don't know anywhere else that like I don't know any other show that does it as well as this show does it.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
You can sit back and just kind of enjoy it, or you can kind of really do the mental math yourself to think, about what those characters are going through and how would you behave in a similar situation and things like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, kind of it's a lot to take in and to enjoy, and it gives you something to think about, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
And also the songs will really stick with you.
Oh my God, it's such a good score. and it's Alan Menken who like Little Mermaid, Aladdin, what else did he do?
I don't think I even knew that.
I mean, he's famous for doing a lot of Disney stuff.
From
So
Little Shop of Horrors to The Little Mermaid.
yeah, and so probably a lot of songs that I know my generation certainly like grew up with, and just like if you were at a time where I'm sure a lot of kids these days are still hearing these kind of songs, like this is a guy who has contributed so much to the world of musicals. And what's cool about this show, because it's got kind of a spoof-like quality to it, you hear moments of kind of days gone by, in the sense of like you'll hear moments of different eras of music.
Yes,
that you're like, that's not the song, but that makes me think of this song, which again will bring up that moment in one's life, And so he's so brilliant at also pulling out the like shared humanity of music. Like, remember this time, remember this era. Here's a song that captures it.
And I think that's what makes this show interesting to so many different generations too.
Yeah.
Because there's kind of the shoo-wop singer group and some of those throwbacks, and there's a little bit of Elvis flair as well by yours truly. And then there's there's things that just are very classic, kind of love and musical romance type ballads, right?
Yeah, it's a show about everything. It's like, it really is.
Yeah. Well, we are joined today by Audrey too.
Welcome. It's nice to see you again.
Yes, everyone be very nice to her. And the kind of the mechanics of the show before we go, was there anything that was particularly challenging or different that you had to kind of practice working with because of the level of props and puppetry and pageantry that goes on there?
A lot of it for me and the role that I'm fortunate enough to be in is that I kind of build out the world around the main characters in that sense. And so if you've seen the movie, I play the Steve Martin character, the dentist. But the way that the stage version works is that the same actor who plays the dentist plays essentially everybody else who exists in this world.
That's true, yeah.
And so if a random customer comes in and just has a few lines here, if there's, different kind of wacky characters that enter the world. And so the thing that, even though I don't necessarily interact with the plant itself a lot, what I interact with is the world building of it. And so one of the things that has been a wonderful challenge for me as an actor is the physicality of it. Vocally is essentially how many whole human beings can I build? Right. And part of it too is that I think, it's just my personal opinion, I think one of the responsibilities of someone in this track is that your job is to make sure that the world makes sense. And so you want the audience to fall in love and root for the love story of it. And so part of that too is that if I'm evil, I want to be evil in a way that you then root for the good guy to fight the evil.
Correct.
Or if my job is to offer information so that the main character can go after and fight the dragon
based on that.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things that, again, I just love about this show is that you see it and it's silly and it's wacky, but there's this whole world of thought-provoking ideas and imagination and so in that sense I feel like mine, even though I'm not necessarily interacting with the plant, but I do watch the extraordinary work of the actor who plays the voice of the plant, Nicholas Ward, as well as the puppeteer, and them working together to create one. I mean, that is theater magic alone. That's, to me, that's worth the price of admission, is to watch. There's one human being speaking and another human being taking his entire body to move this giant plant that towers over everybody.
It really
and yet
is
you would
cute.
think that it's coming from that. Like, you would think that the actor is working the plant at the same time.
It's seamless.
It's extraordinary.
You can't see the seam.
It's extraordinary. And I just think just to sit in that audience. And it's so wonderful that I have a few moments where I get to kind of peek out and I just watch. And when the plant comes to life in a big way and really starts interacting with some of the cast, you hear the oohs, you hear the ahs, you hear people laugh, you watch the jaws drop. Like, it's just such a magical
gasp and taking a breath.
Talk about a moment of shared humanity. Like, we all just look at it and I just sit backstage and I watch it every night because I just love watching these artists work, and the audience is with us. So yeah, in that sense, part of it is that I have a relationship with my costumes and my props and my different wigs and my different voices. But I just stand and sit in awe of everybody who makes Audrey 2 come to life, because it really is something to behold.
Yeah, it really is something to behold. Well, Adam, we could sit here and chat about this all afternoon, but we do want people to take the opportunity to go see the show while it's still running. Thank you for your commitment to the show, and please extend our thanks to the cast for just being so committed to building the world, as you say, that we can all kind of suspend our own realities and come in and enjoy it with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, please, you're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be a show that I think people are going to talk about and just go, remember when they did that show? And I don't want you to be the person that says, I wish I would have seen that. I want you to be the person who said, I saw that and it was that good. I'm a little selfish, but I get to see it every night, and I watch these amazing performers do their thing. This pit sounds incredible. The set is incredible. There's no way you're not going to have a good time. So for anybody, any age, please, well, all are welcome. Come check it out. We're only running for another week and a half or so. Tickets are still available now, but they are going fast. So thank you for your time. I'm so grateful to talk about it, and I hope to see everybody there.
Thank you. This has been so much fun. All right, everyone, come share the experience at Riverside Theater. You can find tickets online. You can also call the box office anytime and have them help you find the perfect seats for you and your friends and family. And then don't forget that there's also plenty of food and cocktails, and just treat yourself to a fantastic night or afternoon at the theater. Thank you so much. Thank you. Happy Halloween and cheers.